Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys, it's 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's another night with Shop Talk. I'm your host from Cycle Source Magazine, Chris Callen, in the studio, in the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney studio with my cohorts, my partners in crime, Heather Callen and Mark Persichetti. What's up, guys?
What's shaking?
Here we go again.
Welcome,
right?
welcome.
See this face? This is a face that hasn't been out of the shop very much this week. Shop hands. Trying to build some shit. You know, here comes Daytona. Oh, boy. Let's get
Should I tell you how many days you have?
No.
Are you sure?
Do you want to stay on the show tonight, or do you want...
Well,
How about a little background music
Well,
tonight?
for that fact, let me tell you how many days.
A little background music. There we go.
That's my favorite
What's
song.
up from Australia? Aaron Sanders. What's up, man? Welcome.
Kiwi and Carolyn are in Australia right now.
Yep.
I'm very jealous. I want to go to Australia.
Me too.
It's a long flight.
I want to go to Daytona.
That's a long walk home if you get in trouble. I don't wanna go to Daytona.
So, hey, listen, man, if this is your first night tuning in with us, Shop Talk
I've
happens
been working out, Tom.
every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's a show that encourages you to get involved. Don't just sit there and listen. You can see everybody starting to come in from social media. Through the power of the Cycle Source Network and Chopper Town, we're going out potentially 3.5 million people every time we broadcast this
Holy
show.
cow, stage fright. I'm done.
Pat Jansen.
Pat Jansen's it.
Pat Jansen.
Listen, not only
Look
is
at-
Pat Jansen in the house, Pat Jansen
Pat
is going to
Jansen
be...
is in the house.
He's going to be in the Grease and Gears.
Missy
Wait
Shoemaker.
a minute. Let
How
me show
dare
that.
you?
Let me show that because...
Pat Jansen is in the house.
Right?
Look at that.
Look
Look
at
at
that.
Mark flashing.
Stop.
What's up from Chicago? Chuck Hammerstein. What's up, Chuck? Mike Draco. What's up, baby? Choppers rule. They absolutely do. Absolutely do.
Are you channeling your inner Rich Petoniak? Oh, good Lord.
Hey, Rich is doing us a solid right now. We're actually going to call in later on and check in with him. Xavier Muriel. What's up? Xavier is coming in from Texas, where I just left a week ago, and it was 80 degrees, and it is not close to that in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I mean to tell you.
50
So I have a
today.
wait a minute, I have a question. Wait. I see on here like 3 times slap out Alabama. What?
Yeah, what is
explain
slap out
that. What is
Alabama?
slap out Alabama? Educate us.
Does that mean have coffee?
Ooh, Brazil. I would like to go to Brazil.
Me too.
Okay, Olivia Martinez, my first time. Let me know what you're all about. Okay, so
Big trouble.
every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we come on with a little show we call Shop Talk. It's some entertainment, some news from the motorcycle industry around the world. We talk about upcoming events. We have a couple guests on. Tonight we got a killer lineup that Heather's going to tell you about because I want her to earn her keep on the show.
Oh, I have so much to say about that. I more than earned my keep. Thank you very much. But first up, we have Greg McFarland from the Cherokee chapter of the AMCA. He's going to be telling us about, this little event that they do out in beautiful Texas Hill Country called the Texas Fandango. Last year was their first year, and we're going this year. I cannot wait. They seem to have done an outstanding job melding a couple different things that we love. So that's all I'm going to say about him, because we'll let him tell you about it. And then after that, we have Stephanie Pietz. She is a moto athlete, a hooligan racer. She travels all over the world racing and riding her ass off, and I'm super excited to talk to her, learn about how she got into it, why she loves it so much. Oh, and she's also a spokesperson for Tucker Power Sports. We'll throw that in there.
That's Heather's way to say super hot and a super badass because, like, seriously...
And just to let you know, she hasn't quite yet ridden her ass off, which
No,
she'll
there's-
be able to
there's
do.
a little piece of it left
yeah, there's
there,
a
I'm
little bit
sure.
there. She's
But-
still there.
All of it adds up to 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. And generally, we like to start that stuff off with a little thing we call the news. First up in the news tonight, this in from the Black Hills Pioneer. Student bike build kicks off. There's their rendition. The bike being customized for a second annual Lonnie's Heart Youth Motorcycle Build Scholarship Program will take a 2015 Heritage Softail and transform it into this Vikla custom bike, courtesy Image.
Curtis Image. Oh, jeez, I'm sorry. I was reading comments.
Come on,
You gotta
man. Listen,
not
wait a
do
minute.
that
Wait a
to
minute.
me.
We talked about the fact that we intend for you to be our Robin Quivers.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
know who that is.
Really?
God, Lord, have you never watched Howard Stern or listened?
No.
Okay. Well,
you need to.
you're Robin. Go.
I don't like Howard Stern, and I don't know who Robin is, so I don't want to be her.
Robin's pretty
Anyway,
effing awesome.
our buddy Pat
So.
Garvin, he's a content creator and so much more for J&P Cycles. He actually is leading the charge on this build. And when I say leading the charge, he's going to be guiding the 6 students from the Sturgis Brown High School. Did I get that right? I don't have it up on my screen. Through this build, and he is going to be as hands-off as possible, i.e. teaching them and making them do it. So I wish them the best of luck. At the end, they are going to auction it off. Last year's bike took in $35,000 at the Mecum auction just a few weeks ago. So I think that's pretty cool.
It is.
That's
It
awesome.
is really cool. And Patrick,
Maybe
I
they'll
mean,
let us feature it when it's done.
Right. We'll put that
Patrick?
out there. We'll put
Patrick?
that out there.
Invitation?
You guys got a spot with us. Next up in the news, Royal Enfield. And we announced this program when they first came up with it, but man, we're going to watch this every step of the way. Royal Enfield looks to mentor students, entice new riders with Build Moto program.
It's cool to see all these companies pushing these kids doing it, you know?
Oh, jeez. I'm killing it tonight. Sorry.
We need to put a muffler on her microphone. It'll be big
Okay.
muffler.
So part of the international manufacturer Royal Enfield's expansion in North America runs through a Harley-Davidson store on one of its key competitors. A few times each week, 12 Kettle Moraine High School students go to Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, and I'm not even going to try to say that word. Oconomowoc.
What a fuck?
To build a Royal, and now everybody from that town hates us. Thanks
right.
for helping me do that.
That's
a
all right.
Royal Enfield
That's what we do.
motorcycle that will be used by racer J.J. Flaherty in the Brewtown Rumble Festival in May.
Does it say how they pick the students? I mean, is it... No?
No, I haven't seen that yet. Let's see. At age 14, he's one of them. So they're starting them really young. It sounds like they're starting them with freshmen on up.
Well, and it says right
Oh, they
here
apply.
that, students apply.
Oh, right on.
Student apply to be part of the Build Moto seminar, regardless of whether she is a freshman or a senior. Bree Poland, Royal Enfield's head of marketing and communication for the Americas, envisions the program expanding across Wisconsin and then the rest of the Midwest. The thing that I loved about this, and what I said right off of the bat is like, anybody that's ridden these bikes or even been next to them, like since the 650 and the GT 650 came out, killer bike, and like way to fire a shot right across the bow, because for all of the hype and everything about Indian, I believe as far as an entry-level motorcycle, this bike right here far surpasses
no questions
anything
asked.
that Indian's doing. And these guys like immediately getting involved with the community, and like just mad kudos to them for it.
So-
oh, yeah. They brought their A game, that's for sure.
Did you catch that one of the coordinators of this at the high school is their art teacher?
Oh, no
And
kidding.
she herself is an avid rider, and she thinks it's one of the reasons she's doing it is for those schools that no longer offer auto repair instruction.
Yeah, which was getting to be a pretty strong trend for a while.
Yeah.
Right. And it's broken up into 3 different groups: social media, design, and build teams.
Right on.
So those 3 things will, I hope, carry people through into other careers, hopefully in the industry.
Wait a minute. We have someone willing to help me out. Russ K. Oconomowoc. There you go.
Does that come with fries?
You guys are killing me. You're killing me. You absolutely kill me.
Patrick Garvin, feature would be rad.
Oh, right on, Patrick. Good, man. I'm so glad to hear that. So what do we got next up in the news? This sparked some crazy controversy in a quick little post we put up this week. The 100 Years War is back on to sell Challenger motorcycles, Indian to offer test rides on a Harley-Davidson. So you guys might have seen this back and forth, Indian's actually going to drag around a Harley-Davidson with them, and they're asking people to ride one right after the other. The backlash has been insane because there are as many feverish Indian supporters as there are Harley. So you can't even imagine, like, it wasn't so bad when Indian first put this out, but then when Harley's response came in, and this is from our own Cycle Source news site, Harley came up with this ad. Honestly, now, did you spend your youth dreaming about someday owning a Polaris?
Yeah, I didn't know Harley was still making snowmobiles.
Dude, how about that? That's what Harley should do.
Oh, exactly.
Harley should come back out with a snowmobile and say, okay, you're going to get into the
Wanna
V
play
Twin
games?
game.
Let's do it.
Right on. So anyway, like I said, we had put a little post up this week, and man, all of a sudden it just went mad, and the comments back and forth were hilarious. They really were. One that I wanted to speak to in specific was one guy had said something derogatory about, well, you didn't know Harley through the AMF years. And man, if you ever got a chance to read, Roadside Marty did a killer piece on shovelheads one month, and he incorporated the AMA years, and he had a lot of really good things, as many bad things as came out of Harley Davidson from that time. Really, AMF doesn't get the kind of credit that they probably should for the good stuff that they did for that company. I mean, because even beyond saving it, they took that company through some of its most innovative times. So
and that I have the what is that thing? The FXR. That thing to me is one of the coolest bikes made.
Yeah, absolutely.
And FX or the AMF's hot right now. I mean, a lot of people want those AMFs.
Ron Major, hi from North Dakota. I'm just bad at saying names tonight. Minot. There you go. Okay.
It's cold. That's all you need to know. North Dakota, it's cold.
All right, so let's move on to the news. This was really big news that came out this week. Motorcycle industry best builders showcased their art at Sturgis Buffalo Chip. This was the official announcement about the builders that are going to participate in this year's Motorcycles as Art contest exhibition that Michael Lichter puts on. It literally is the thing that every year we watch to see what's actually going on. This year it's called Heavy Metal Motorcycles as Art with Moxie. All invited builders have to have completed at least 20 custom builds and been in business for 20 years. It's going to mark the one-time exhibit. Will also feature photographs captured by Lichter over his 40-plus year career, and that all adds up to the 80th anniversary of Sturgis. So the lineup is insane. I mean, Arlen Flatland, Bill Dodge, Billy Lane, Brian Clark, Carl Olson, Cole Foster, Corey Ness. As you go through this, man, these are the guys that have for the last 20 years just made this shit happen. Difference. All the way through this list. Look, our
Stag,
Pat Patterson right there. Yeah, Stag being on. It's insane, dude.
That's top insane. Of mind. I found my Psycho shirt that he gave me the other day. That is one of my favorite shirts. It doesn't even fit me, and I won't give it away. Dude, Stag, you rock, dude, hands down.
Yes, sir.
Sugar Bears.
I think Sugar Bear should just bring Gorgeous.
Oh, here we go.
Jeff Cochran.
Here we go again with the gorgeous stuff.
I'm sorry, that it is the perfect chopper. I'm sorry.
And it smells like Lemon Pledge.
If you guys haven't seen Sugar Bear's chopper, it's called Gorgeous. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Did I mention that I build motorcycles and my wife's favorite bike is someone else's? And I mean, he doesn't.
You do the math.
Wait a minute.
He doesn't grind that in at all.
No. My favorite. Jeez. My favorite motorcycle of all time is the Ticket.
Oh,
I will say that.
Look,
nice save.
There's no going back on it now.
No, but Gorgeous is a beautiful.
Is a close runner-up.
Yeah.
And Sugar Bear's just eating that up right now. So
I love Sugar Bear.
Hey, did I mention to you guys that every Sunday we come to you live from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio with another episode of Shop Talk? Like I said, it's some news, it's some entertainment, it's a couple guests, 90 to 120 minutes of all the bullshit we can fit. We're going to take 2 seconds here and do some business for the show before we get to our first guest of the hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some more Shop Talk.
Yeah, she's over buckles, she's over spurs. To her, you're just a heartache in a pearl snap shirt. Been wrestled and let go for the last time. No, she ain't just over me, she's over me and my kind.
products listed in this video, click on the link in the description area below. Feel free to call us with any questions or place an order at 800-969-7501. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe for all of the latest DK events, videos, and promos.
Okay, so every once in a while we get some tech in here. Not always from our own garage. We like to spread the love around. Although I am going to put one shameless plug in right now. We are currently underway with the construction of this year's Twisted Tea 2020 sweepstakes giveaway bike that we have dubbed the T-Dozer. And there's an artist rendition of what the bike is going to look like. It's on its way to that now, but yeah, boy, if anybody mentions how far away Daytona is, you might actually get to see my head blow clean off my body.
Well, you live for this.
Don't scroll through the comments. Missy actually put it up there.
Oh my God.
Shocking.
Hey, Nick Hiddlebrito, 52 degrees in the mitten of Michigan today.
Well, we're about 58 today, right? Something like that.
Nick also said, who are some of the top young builders in your opinion today? Dude, there's so many.
Oh, Nick Pensabene
Nick,
from
Nick
Mad
Pensabene,
Pen, Evan
absolutely.
Favaro,
Brandon Keene.
Yep.
Brock Bridges. He's really coming out swinging.
You know, and there's a kid from our hometown here,
Austin,
Zach
Drella.
Conway, that we like.
Oh, yeah.
I constantly try to drag Zach out in the limelight because he's a really, really talented, good young man. But to that end, the tech that I was talking about, we have some tech that's in this week from Fueling. So let's take a break and hear what Fueling has for us.
We've got our new twin cam rocker box breathers here that bolt onto the rocker housing. Built aluminum 6061. We've got our optimized passages inside it as far as matched up for breathing to the rocker housings. No drilling required. Billet parts ready to rock and roll with Cometic gaskets. We include the 12-point ARP hardware with it. One thing that we like to do with all of our fasteners is make sure that we're using Moly lube and or some sort of assembly lubricant underneath the underhead flange. And that way you're always going to get a true torque. And we're going to put a little bit of the red Loctite on the threads. And we're going to get these guys installed. Here's the assembly. Got clean gasket surfaces up top here.
All right, we're going to torque these down to 120 inch-pounds.
That Luke Leatherman, he's such an ace. So he is. No, Luke's a good dude. So listen, while we were off air here, Mike Draco reminds me Brian Butera is one of the.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely one of the talented. But
Well, Nick asked for young builders. Brian is in our age
New,
group.
yeah.
is he in our age? I think
yeah.
he's younger than us.
No, he's in my age group.
Oh,
So
know,
I went for people in their 30s and lower. So
Right.
when I thought young, because we're not young anymore. Sorry.
Well, I feel like 70. So I don't know who you're kidding.
that beard is rocking.
I'm going home. It's fake.
Do
I,
we?
I love how when the hair comes out from underneath the beard, you got like this racing stripe thing going on, man. You know, you got the three-tone.
It's dyed. Dana dyes it once a week.
Okay.
So we have Greg White. He is the new guy in Texas with Phase 2 Cycles, right? Out of
Right.
Austin.
Yep.
Look for some good stuff coming up from him pretty
Good to see
soon.
you, dude. He's working on a badass little bike that he plans on bringing out to Daytona, and I'm not gonna spoil it because I have advanced pictures of where he's at with it. But good for you, man. Get in the garage, get that shit done. We want to see it, especially at the Dennis Kirk Garage Build Bike Show.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
See what everybody brings to the table there.
What else you got for Daytona? What are you gonna do?
I'm going to show up. I'm going to walk around a little bit. Got a
That's
new
enough.
outfit. Got a nice new outfit. I'm waiting until you get to the point where we're ready for me on this build so that I can be as mean about
Oh,
everything
dude,
as you.
you're coming in, baby. You're coming in right now.
Coming in hot.
Yep.
It's almost my turn.
So Mark is my secret weapon. Like people don't realize that. Like everybody's always like, "Oh my God, you build bikes! You guys build bikes, and in 30 days, and that's the only reason why, because he's as stupid as I am. And when it gets time for the body work, boy, I go straight over to his house and drop my shit off, and he makes it look good.
Oh, God. I have a stomachache already.
So
I'm looking forward to it, though. I enjoy that.
We should get to our first guest of the night. Heather, you want to tell everybody about the first guest while I bring it up?
Sure. Our first guest is Greg McFarland. He's coming to us from the Cherokee chapter of the AMCA. That's actually the chapter of the AMCA that Chris and I belong to.
Damn right.
And they are a Texas-based chapter, even though we live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We opted to go with them because they are doing such phenomenal outreach to the younger generation. They welcome choppers, they welcome shovel heads and iron heads, and they don't care that it's a chopper or a long bike or a bobber. All are welcome, and we really dig that. But they're doing a new second year event, called the Texas Fandango in Fredericksburg, Texas, the first weekend in April, and he's coming on here to talk to us about it.
All right, let's see if we can get him on the phone.
Hey guys.
Hey man, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Let me get this. Let me get control of this show. Greg, it's so good to have you on, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for you guys having me on, and also thanks for y'all's support of the Texas Fandango.
Oh, listen, Heather. I don't know if you were just listening before we got you on, but Heather was just singing the songs of praise of the Cherokee chapter in general, and how proud we are to be a part of it. And it's because of the stuff that you guys do, not just Fandango. I mean, Fandango is the big thing, but from the first time that we met you, the whole club and got into the vibe down there, it was just like, you go around, and not to take anything away from anyone else in the AMCA, but when you see the kind of outreach, you guys are so happy for everybody to be there, and you appreciate an old panhead as an old panhead, whether it's a 100-point motorcycle or if somebody's pulling up with an 18 over front end on it, and it's just such a great place. It's such a great place to be.
Well, I appreciate that, and now, we make it a point that we all like the same thing. I may be into an old bike right now, but I certainly was into choppers and had choppers back many years ago. So it's all an evolution, right? And they're all two wheels, so they're all fun to ride.
Absolutely.
So now this is the second year for the Texas Fandango. How did this grow? Where did you guys get this from? I know a little bit about the history, but why don't you share that with our viewers?
Well, myself and all my buddies and everybody in the club, we love going to Davenport, Iowa. We love going to Wauseon, Ohio. The problem is it, closest one's 15 hours away for me, and even more for some people farther south from where I live. So we wanted to kind of create that same type of deal where you have vintage swap meet with, excellent parts, big bike show where everybody can come and check out old bikes, even if they aren't even into old bikes, if they have a curiosity about it. And then also to pair the races with it, because, up in the Midwest and Northeast, people are a lot more familiar with flat track than they are down here. And so when people see it, they just go crazy. The president of the fairgrounds was there. That was his first flat track last year. Watch that. He's at, that's a horse racing track. He said this is a hell of a lot more exciting than horse racing. So if we can get that kind of reaction, that's great. But to answer your question, we wanted a big vintage swap meet that we didn't have to drive 15 hours to get to. And that's how Fandango came to be.
Well, and a lot of people might not understand that about Texas, man. And now that we've been spending so much time, even just in hill country, it takes a good bit to get out of Texas. But events that happen in Texas, it's 1,000 miles sometimes to get from one part of Texas to the other. So you have a good point. There's a lot of population, there's so much motorcycle going on now in Texas too, that it just makes sense for you guys to have something like this.
Yeah, and we got really positive results. And Heather, from your reaction, that was the same reaction we got from everybody. We just, and it's not, we're not trying to be slick or anything like that. We just want everybody to have, if they leave with a smile on their face and they say they had fun, then that's what we want to get out of this thing.
Well, it looks like you're doing a heck of a job doing it. I mean, I know Chris and I are very excited. We planned last year to make sure we could make it this year, so we'll be there for the event because it's everything that we love. It's choppers, it's cool, period correct old bikes, it's racing, and it's just fun on two wheels. So I mean, how can you go wrong?
Yeah, and we don't have a really set blueprint on this thing. We're just going to let it kind of go in whatever direction it wants to, because we hope to add something new every year. Like this year would be the chopper show that Oliver Peck and the Lucky Seven Cycle boys for here in Dallas are going to put on for us. So that kind of deal. You can't have a static show anymore. It has to be something new and different every year just to, get people excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, like, people nowadays, too, they want to participate. They don't want to just be bystanders and watch. So I think it's great that you guys are doing the mini bike races and, the Run What You Brung flat track. So people can go home and say, I did that.
Right.
Right. And, even if you don't participate in the show, all you have to do is drive 15 minutes to be in the best roads in Texas.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
For a ride. So, I mean, that's why we like Fandango, because it's at a fairgrounds. It's got a track already. It's got big covered buildings for, some people, have a, and this is not me, but some people have motorcycles worth a lot of money. And to put them outside is not really an option for those type of people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind putting mine outside, but again, it's springtime in Texas, so you never know when a rain. It's not going to happen at Fandango, but it could happen sometime during the spring.
Right on.
So, tell us about the area. Like, you guys picked an absolutely perfect area, and I know the Cherokee chapter is more than just Texas Hill Country. I know it's Oklahoma and even further beyond that. Did you pick the Fredericksburg area specifically because of Hill Country? Excuse me.
Yeah, we did. And also, it's a place, not everybody's spouse is into old motorcycles or things like that. And so, they people's spouses or anybody can come down here, and they don't necessarily have to spend the whole weekend at Fandango. There's riding, like I said. There, the historic town of Fredericksburg has got some of the best German food in Texas, and there's about 8,000 wineries on the road between Austin to Fredericksburg. So there's if you like wine, it's a nice place to be.
Right on. Then is there camping on site? Do people rely on hotels? What are the lodging?
Of course, there's plenty of hotels in Fredericksburg. We also have a huge parking lot associated with the fairgrounds. Some of it is grass, and we have camping there. We also have a section for RVs without hookups. Unfortunately, they have hookups there, but they're all taken either by people full time or by the staff of the Texas Fandango. We don't have that many of them, but there's plenty of room. There's also about a mile away, there's a Lady Bird Johnson Municipal Park, where they also have camping there, both RV and primitive. So it's not on the San Marcos River or anything like that, but it's a good place where you can pitch a tent or move an RV or sleep in a trailer or whatever you want to do, and so there's plenty of room.
Right on. Well, that's exciting. I'm thrilled to be there. I'm thrilled we're supporting it, and we'll see. And it's April 3rd through 5th this year.
Yeah, it's April 3rd through 5th. We've got the Vintage Bike Show, the Chopper Show. We've got a great swap meet. We had over 100 vendors last year. We hope to even have more this year. And again, we've got the races. Extreme Flat Track's putting that on for us, and they're the VDTRA guys. And so we've got a bunch of friends and people helping us out here, and who want to see this thing succeed. And for all the AMCA members or Cherokee members that work so hard during the weekend, on Sunday morning we're going to go on a vintage ride, and so we'll go on a little road run on Sunday and finish that up, and then pack up and head out.
Right on. No.
Hey, wait
go
1
ahead.
second. Kirk Sharp just put a comment up. Chopper drag races! !
Yes. Yeah. And we've done something different with the races. Putting that horse track, taking it down to the clay was a monumental effort for us to do that. And
Absolutely.
then we had to put it all back together. So it was about 6 days of prep and restore. So the fairgrounds didn't want to do that anymore. So they built us a track interior, which is a good half-mile track still in the interior. It's such a big track, a horse track. So that's going to be kind of exciting too. It's going to be our own flat track that we won't have to rebuild every year.
Yeah, right on.
That's awesome.
But Kirk is right, man. We're going to have some drags on the racetrack, the actual racetrack itself, and so it's a big old wide track. So if you run what you brung, if you got a grudge match between anybody, this is time to get it out of your system.
That's awesome.
Well, I know we're super stoked, man. We're planning on being there. We're actually going to be in Texas for an extended stay just to make sure that we have everything for set up for this show, and we want to do all kind of stuff from there. Last year, you guys look like you had so much fun at this show. We've been going through all the images and stuff, getting ready for the trip, and we cannot wait.
Yeah, well, good. We're glad to have y'all, and anybody listening wants to come down. And another bonus for that weekend on Sunday, if you don't want to go on a vintage ride with us, they got MotoGP there in Austin. So there's plenty of motorcycle-related things going on in the area.
That's perfect. Greg, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on. Tell people where they can stay up to date with information about the Fandango, where they can buy tickets, everything they need to know.
Okay. Our website is thetexasfandango.com. So get on there, and that'll give you all the information, the schedule of events, the seminars, show you some pictures from last year. And also, if you have a vendor registration there, bike show registration, and you can buy tickets there as well. And it's, what, guys, for $10 you get 3 days of fun. That's one $10 bill for all 3 days.
It's $10 for 3 days.
That's unheard
For
of
3
these
days.
Oh well, hell.
Not $10 for every day. It's $10 for 3 days, and and everything there is what you see. We don't charge you for anything. The bike show is free to enter. We don't charge anybody an entry fee or anything like that.
Man, you can't beat that.
No, that's unheard
That's
of.
right.
You cannot beat that.
An event that big with all that stuff for $10.
Well, and that's the point, man. What we were talking
the
about
people there
about being members of this chapter. Like, these guys are always looking to add to. You know what I mean? They're doing everything that they can to add to the group of people that are coming out to enjoy motorcycles and celebrate this lifestyle.
Yep.
So I'm going to throw this out there, and Chris is probably going to kill me. The first 10 people that can chime in on Facebook that are from more than 100 miles away from Fredericksburg that want to go, I'll pay your admission.
Nice.
Wow. Thank you, Heather.
There you go. So let's put up the social media.
Let's put it up. If you guys want to come, I will pay your admission for the weekend, the first 10 of you. You got to
If you don't want to have fun, then don't come. But if you want to have fun, come on down.
No takers yet.
Nope.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
All you got to do is tell me where you're from and that you're going to be there that weekend, and I will
put your
pay your
name in.
admission. Ashley, it's the first weekend in April.
First weekend in April.
You're from
Best time.
Arizona.
That's more than 100 miles. That's 1,000. I think it's 1,100 miles. She would definitely
Yeah, we definitely pay that.
Definitely pay
we're not
that
paying
one.
the gas.
No.
No.
Another thing, guys, down in here, and you probably know this, but people haven't been in this area. This is the peak time for wildflowers down there.
Bluebonnet season. I
Yeah.
have yet to see that.
Oh my God! Last year was incredible. I mean, it was like carpets of blue and white and red. I mean, it was really a stellar year last year.
Oh, I can't wait. That's another reason I want to move to Texas. Each time we go, we stay a little bit longer and a little bit longer. So pretty soon we're just not going to leave.
Yeah, there you go. And bring your bathing suit when you go riding, because you'll come across some crystal clear creek or swimming hole, and it's going to be warm. Obviously, it's Texas in April.
Okay.
But,
we got one taker, Howard Wiggins. I'm in OKC, Oklahoma, and I'm going. So put him down. That's
All
one
right,
of
you're
our.
going on my list, Howard. I'm going to pay your. Missy, you don't count.
Mike Draco said, when is the hand-built show in Austin?
It's the same weekend.
Yeah.
It's the same weekend. But you know what? If you want it, Austin is only an hour and a half away. If you wanted to come out and have fun on Friday or Saturday and do hand-built Friday or Saturday, you can do that as well. So, I mean, if you're a committed person to having fun, you could do all three events and not miss much.
I mean, it's really a great weekend. If you love motorcycles, Austin and
Yeah,
Hill
what's wrong
Country
with you?
is the place to be.
What's wrong? So Greg Lou is asking. He says, "Ask Greg if panheads allowed."
Greg is a member of the Cherokee chapter.
Yeah, Panhead Greg. Well, we'll let him in with one, I guess. He can tell him to bring all his panheads. That's what
Right.
I'd like to see in the show.
There you go.
Right on. So, all right,
cool.
so we got one taker, and I'm going to let that go if people want to message me that they want to go.
Yeah, the first 10 people.
The first 10 people
Well,
that-
9 now. 'Cause we
9.
got our first guy.
Yep.
Okay.
Just send us a message, and we'll cover that admission for you.
Wow, thanks. I really look forward to seeing y'all down here, and I think you're gonna enjoy yourself.
Oh, heck
Oh,
yeah. I'm ready.
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
All right, man. Well, listen. Thanks again for coming on, and we're short time now, and we're bringing a bunch of mini bikes.
Okay, bring them on.
Right on.
Okay,
man.
well, Chris, I appreciate you and Heather and CycleSource again for helping us promote this, and I'm just lucky to have friends like y'all and everybody else in the community.
Right on, man. We're lucky to be part of this thing too. Thank you. All right, man.
Take care.
All right, we'll talk to y'all later.
Chris Anderson, wish I could make it from Panama City. You can make it,
You
Chris.
can
It's
make it.
actually not that far for you.
You just got to go across 10, right?
Yeah, true. Billy.
But hey, coffee and beignets at Cafe Olay.
Oh, that's my favorite
That's
part
worth,
of that trip.
That's worth the trip.
Camel, tell Jay I said hello. Let's see. Oh, Ashley's racing that weekend.
Nope, she's out. She's out.
She's out.
It was a thought to come.
We tried. Kirk Sharp, we love you too. It's been far too long since we've seen you, so.
I know. That was one of our first experiences with the AMCA was when we shot his bike.
Yeah.
We shot his bike at the
It was at the Pate swap meet.
Paid swap meet. Yep.
That's how we got involved with the Cherokee chapter.
Yeah. So
was a
it's
good weekend.
partially your fault, Kirk. Right on.
All right, what's next?
Well, we still have a couple pieces of news we can squeeze in real quick. Heather brought this one, and this is kind of cool. 20 rare motorcycles less than 10 people own. There are plenty of limited and special edition motorcycles out there, but these are the rarest ones of which less than 10 people own. So we'll go through them 20 to 0, or 20 to 1. Lewis Hamilton MV Augusta. 1976 Captain America Harley Davidson Panhead. So this particular motorcycle, if it's the one that was in the movie, there's actually 6 people that own that, thanks to Ben Capen Adams, who was a fan of counterfeiting these motorcycles and selling it as the one from the
Did
movie.
you see how
There's
much
a whole
this
bunch
sold
of D1s.
for? 1.35 million.
Yeah.
Holy
And that's
Batman.
probably one of the ones that old Grizzly Adams sold.
Yeah.
1942 Crocker V-twin big tank.
Yeah. And then that's another one that went through. What was it? Meekum at crazy money.
This one restored by Richard Morris, who describes the bike as fast and a fantastic machine. It could easily be overtaken by modern commuters, but back in the day, it was one of the most powerful and agile bikes in the U.S. 1951 Vincent White Shadow.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said there? White Shadow. Only 15 were ever built between 49 and 52. The 51 version was painted metallic silver. Less than 7 of these bikes exist in the world today. The only White Shadow with the Chinese red color scheme was auctioned for $434,000 at Bonham's, Las Vegas, making it the 9th highest selling motorcycle ever. 1984 Ducati 750 TTI.
Yeah, boy.
That's badass.
Only 7 were ever made, and Ducati really keeps them under wraps.
That looks like it's going fast, sitting on the stand.
Dude, I'd love to have that motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
1999 Honda CBR 1100 XX Super Blackbird. Super Blackbird.
Exceed 170 miles an hour.
That's right. It was the big boy before the Suzuki Hayabusa stole the show.
That was one of my first bikes, was an 1100, CBR 1100. That thing, I used to jump the railroad tracks on the south side with it. Get so high I'd almost shave my helmet on the railroad trestle.
1970 Triumph Bonneville 750. The 750 of 1970 holds a unique place in Triumph's history. In that particular year, these proved to be really fast racers. Only 211 of them were made. 210 of those were stripped down for racing. What you're looking at in the picture is the only surviving one in mint condition. It was posted as an ad on Collectors Weekly 8 years ago and still doesn't have any takers. Wow. You kidding me? 1976 BMW R96. So BMW played a gamble with the engine size, a 2-stroke variant that was supposed to increase power, although not very reliable. The result was one of the fastest cruisers of its time. Today, a well-kept R96 is a rare sight. One of a handful are known to exist in good condition. 2014, Akira Kawasaki Avantia GP14. Dude, that bike is sick.
Oh, my God. Again, looks like it's doing 1,000 miles an hour sitting still.
Number 11, the 1999 Ducati 996 SPS, baby. There it is.
Yeah, buddy.
That's the monster. It produced more power from its L twin engine, accumulating to an eye-watering 112 horsepower. Less than 8 of these first-year production models exist today. 1938 Crocker. This has got to be Billy Lane's bike, right? The definition of the classic American cruiser, this bike was loved by enthusiasts and the free-spirited. It was a noteworthy addition since it represented the first cast aluminum small fuel tanks. It was also the last production Crocker before the Second World War saw David Crocker out of business. Number 9, 2005 BMW R1100S Boxer Cup replica.
Them things just look crazy. I want one.
Right.
There's another
Number 8, 1988 Kawasaki ZX4. Dude.
Yeah, buddy.
Ready for Tron, right? Quite a few fast Japanese bikes in the 1980s, but it was the Kawasaki ZX4 that was a force to be reckoned with. This twin-cam 4-stroke motorcycle was counted among the fastest bikes of its segment. A 400cc bike that could do 130 miles per hour in the 1980s. The original 1988 edition is so rare that even its parts are auctioned off for a small fortune, let alone the entire motorcycle.
Yeah, buddy.
Number 7, the 2009 Ducati 1098R Balius Edition. Most collector's edition bikes are just too worn out to ride, not the Ducati 1098R. This one won so many championships in 2009, they launched a Balius limited edition with an exclusive paint job, packing in 180 horsepower and 99.1 pounds-foot of torque. It's one of the fastest MotoGP bikes in existence. While you could easily get your hands on the regular 1098R for $40,000, this one exclusively sold to less than 8 customers worldwide. Wow. Number 6, a 38 Triumph 5T Speed Twin 500.
That's cool.
Dude, so cool. This was previously owned by Steve McQueen, later restored by his buddy Dave Eakins in the 1970s. It's the only surviving one that McQueen rode and is owned by renowned landscape architect and Triumph aficionado Mike Crone. Number 5, the 1988 1988 Kawasaki KR1, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
Right?
We used to kid around. Those things look like boxes,
Right.
and yet you couldn't see them because
I
they were
know.
going by so
Jesus.
fast. Yeah.
1988 Kawasaki KR1 became a legend the instant it left the production line, packing a tiny two-stroke 250cc engine and put out a hefty 52.5 bhp. This allowed the bike a top speed of 139 miles per hour, which was unheard of in this segment. Although less than 10,000 bikes of the KR series were produced, the 1988 KR1 are close to extinct, with only 6 of these left in their pristine condition today.
We used to kid around. They put shoe boxes on for gas tanks.
Number 4, 1989 Suzuki Bandit 250 Limited. Really?
Yeah.
The Bandit was something of a sensation for naked bikes. Its small engine was capable of producing 45 bhp. BHP, Big House Pete. Even though it was smaller than a 250cc, while the later trims improved on the output, the original 250 Bandit was sought after collector's item. The limited trim was equipped with upgraded exhaust and brakes, with no more than 5 of such exchanging hands in the last 3 decades. You'd never know it to look at that bike.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Number 3, the 2013 Ducati 1199.
Yeah, buddy, I want to ride one.
I know. I can't believe that this far up the list, though, the newer motorcycles are the one you wouldn't expect that.
No, I guess you're figuring that technology with the aerodynamics, that thing's got to be it's a bullet.
They made 161 of them.
Okay, well, Ayrton Senna was a legend in Formula One. His tragic loss in 1994 was commemorated by many high-end manufacturers. Ducati sought to uphold his legacy with this model. Although 161 of these saw a limited production run, the exclusive trim with the red wheels was only but for a privileged few. The first edition of this marked 20th anniversary of Senna's passing. Number 2, the 2020, wow, Jesus,
Yeah.
Aprilia RSV4RR Misano. Now, for the all-new, the Aprilia RSV4RR has a limited edition and is named after the Misano racetrack, where the manufacturer saw more than a few wins since 1987. It's a pure performance thoroughbred with 201 horsepower. Now compare that. We're looking at the sport bikes from the 80s, dude.
Yep.
201 horsepower coming from a 999cc engine. Only 100 of these potent V4 superbikes will ever hit the road. So far, only 3 have been sold to anonymous buyers around the globe. You ready? Number 1, 1916 Traub.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm pretty sure that's Steve Klein's bike.
No.
This one's a pure mystery. According to Motorcycle Classic, this one specimen was found inside a building wall in Chicago in 1968. There are no leads as to who built this all-wooden 1,000cc motorcycle and why they left it. One thing's for certain, it was way ahead of its time. Its current owner, Dale Waxler, is unknown to its origins as anyone else. Who would put all that effort into handcrafting such a magnificent machine and leave it be? It will perhaps forever remain a mystery. Who put this piece together? This is a great piece, man.
Thethings.com.
Let's
I
go
did
back
share
up.
that.
Yeah, right on. Thethings.com. We get a lot of really cool motorcycle stuff from them.
Yeah, some not so good. That was one of those whack job writers a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I
It's
remember.
kind of hit or miss.
But that's good too when they put that crazy shit up. All right, so
We're late for our second guest.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna get
we'll,
yelled at.
we'll go ahead. You start the monologue and I'll work on getting the guest on.
So our next guest is Stephanie Pietz, and as I said at the beginning of the show, she is just a badass moto athlete. She's a hooligan racer. She's traveled the globe racing dirt, anything with 2 wheels she rides, and she's just badass. She's a spokesperson for Tucker Power Sports, and I have to say this, she's a supermodel on top of being an incredible rider. So that just makes it even better. And she's a super cool person.
Yeah, she was great to talk to.
She really was.
we
Chris
ran
got a
into
few
her.
minutes to
Yeah,
talk to her.
Right on. Well, let's get her on the phone.
Hello?
Stephanie, how you doing? You're live on Shop Talk.
Hey, how's it going?
It's awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time with us tonight. We're super fired up to talk to you.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm glad I ran into you guys at the show that day.
Right?
That was great. So we actually met Stephanie for the first time at the Tucker Power Sports Dealer Show when we happened to be going through Texas. So we're like, we have to get you on. So many people would love to hear from you. So let's let you kind of introduce yourself.
Okay. So my name's Stephanie Pietz, obviously. If you guys have never heard of me, I go by Ms. Pietz on my Instagram and some of my socials, but I'm born and raised in Arizona, and right now I'm I race the hooligan stuff. I grew up like in a dirt bike background. I grew up around motorcycles pretty much my whole life and mechanics, and right now I'm kind of nursing an injury that I got, so I haven't been super mobile. But I'm itching like crazy to get back on my bike because it's driving me nuts being down right now.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
we know how you injured yourself.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, so I guess it could be a worse story. I was in Thailand doing a guided off-road tour with some amazing people. And it wasn't even anything crazy. I just had a kind of a little get off, and I kept riding and I felt fine. And then I stepped off the bike and I heard my knee snap, and I snapped my ACL and damaged my meniscus. So I had never had a knee injury before, so I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, amazing how hard they are to recover from.
It definitely makes me not want to do it again. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's just the time, everything takes time, and I'm so active and constantly always doing stuff. So it's difficult for me to sit still.
Right on. Well, hey, so first I have to tell you that Ashley Woodford says, love her. Tell Stella hi from Gary. Inside joke.
Oh God. Ashley and her husband are great. I always constantly, he just always calls me different names because I constantly kept forgetting his name all the time. So it's just kind of a thing that we have going on. But they were just out in LA. I met Ashley at the women's motorcycle show last year. She is an awesome land speed rider and does some pretty cool stuff. So
Oh, she is. She is. And her and Drew are both two of our favorite people in the world. But
yeah,
listen,
they're good people for sure.
one of the things I'd been hearing a lot of stuff about you, and one of the things it was so exciting about meeting you is because you were such a really grounded person, and I can't imagine how hard that is for you, because I know just from the stuff that we go through in the motorcycle world, women always have a harder path. You know what I mean? And very pretty women have an even harder path because people want to have a preconceived idea about where you come from or what you know. And, you're without a doubt one of the hardest riders, baddest chicks that I know that's out there. And I
appreciate that.
And I can only imagine that with your looks that there's always an acclimation period where you have to qualify who you are as a rider and the rest of your abilities.
It's a little difficult. It kind of goes both ways, right? So it's difficult because a lot of people don't take you seriously, and they don't give you credit. They think, oh, she's just a model. She's just putting around, she's not taking anything seriously. But I put just as much time and effort into it as the next person, So it makes it difficult when I'm putting the effort into it, and I'm limited on resources of where I can practice and my time, because I don't have a whole bunch of money coming in all the time. So I still have to work, and I still have to take care of myself, and I still get modeling jobs on the side. So, and the good side about it is that because I'm an attractive female, I do get help through companies for riding, but it's not I'm not on some full ride sponsorship. It's just kind of it goes back and forth. But as far, like you're saying, it's hard because a lot of people don't take me serious because of the way that I look, and it sucks.
Well, I go through the same thing. I mean, God knows I'm beautiful, and people just,
just got lovely,
they don't ever,
flowing
they take
locks.
me for advantage. I hate when people take advantage of me.
See,
you know?
and the problem is when it comes to Mark is he's actually very photogenic, and I mean as far as his ability to represent a product, it's unparalleled.
Yeah.
But he very rarely gets an opportunity to show that side because
Yeah, I work out. Don't be a hater, So
You're not gonna be, you're not gonna grace the cover of your own magazine.
no, I try. I try and keep I leave space for other people. So I'm a giver. So how did you get involved with? How did you get involved with Tuck Rocky in the first place? I mean, how did you get in there? Were you in the right place at the right time?
So it's just, I love them to death. I just have to say, like, they are amazing, and I appreciate everything they do for me so much. I got involved with them because they were kind of looking for a female presence to represent them, not just in the V-twin world, but, in the moto world as well. And it's kind of hard because it's hard to find somebody who's versatile, like, in everything, right? So they wanted somebody who can talk to people, who could be on the cover, who could show up to events and be a promotional model on top of actually being a rider too. So that's kind of where it started. They reached out to one of my friends, my buddy Aaron Guadardo. He works at Suicide Machine Co.
yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with those guys. They're amazing. They're my sisters, him and Sean. So anyways, they reached out to him to get my information, and then that's kind of how we linked up.
And you do just ad stuff for them, or do you race for them too? What?
So, I mean, I represent their brands with the stuff that I do. So I represent them when I'm racing. I use their products. I use tons of twin power stuff for my bikes when I'm working on them, when I fix them, parts, anything, just even just simple maintenance, oil filters, stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
So-
And you do your own maintenance? Is that what you said?
I'm learning. I'm way more familiar with the dirt bike side of things,
Right.
because that's where I started. And this last 2 years of doing flat track, I've definitely learned a lot about my Harley, and I've learned that it's never a done project. It's just continually going. This is what every Harley person is telling me. Oh, well, now it's just a never-ending project. But I try to do what I can, if I don't have time to. As far as internals and understanding performance-wise, I usually have other people help me with that.
Oh, right on.
So one of our viewers made a comment, and I actually have to completely agree with her. She says that she loves that you embrace being a beautiful woman and still being a badass on the track. So
Correct.
often lately, with this new insurgence of female riders, it's, and I hate to say this, but don't objectify me, don't call me pretty, don't say I'm beautiful. I'm a woman rider and that's all I want to be. But you can be beautiful and be on a motorcycle. You can be beautiful and be a strong presence. You can be beautiful and be a role model. And you're embracing both parts of your life with that. And kudos to you.
Thank you. And I absolutely agree with you. I don't feel like we should have to dull down our femininity for any reason. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not super girly, but I like to keep my hair nice, and I work out all the time, and I try to keep myself in shape, not just for everybody else, but because it makes me feel good, and I like to feel sexy, and I like to feel strong feminine, and it doesn't mean that I know what you're saying. And I feel like there are a lot of women who kind of feel like, oh, well, nobody's going to take you seriously because you're too sexy or you're too pretty. And I'm like, why do I have to be less feminine because I'm being in a male dominated industry?
Again, the same thing I go through. Here we go again.
Listen, I was just going to ask you if you're paying attention here, Mark.
Your hair nice.
Well, I couldn't ask that. In all reality, and this is like the other end of that. Like, me or Chris could have never asked that question. It would have been sexist. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost it's almost that fine line that sort of sucks.
But I think it's a conversation that needs to be
It
had
is.
too.
It
You know
most
what I
definitely
mean?
is. But again, right? You're on that thing. The female riders. I mean, you're a rider. You're a rider. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. I don't care if you're ugly, or if you're beautiful, whatever. But to
Exactly.
go out of your
Right.
way to be like, dude, you're hot. I'd look like an idiot. You know what I mean? So
You would-
I mean, it's just something I wouldn't do in the first place.
You
but
would definitely get your mic muted.
yeah. I mean, it's just not
It's a
right
lot
to
of
do.
work, it's not like it's just, hey, I'm pretty, here it is. Like it takes, I mean, any woman knows, like it takes a lot of work to, stay, you got to eat right. It's discipline. If you're working out, if you're taking care of yourself, it's not, that's what separates us from the men. You guys can just get up and,
Well, don't hate me because I'm
not
beautiful.
even
You know what I mean?
shampoo your hair
So,
and
yeah.
just be on your way. It's like you don't have to, it's not something that's as common as you guys. You don't
My
have to worry
secret's
about
ice
that.
cream before bed. That's my secret.
But you're also
I'm not gonna lie though. I'm so bad about nutrition, and I do eat a lot of ice cream, so I can't say that I don't. I do have good genetics as well. My mom's like tiny, so.
Well, Mark could definitely use a little bit of product, but
Yes.
other than that, like this is the most important thing about this is, so many people, young people, boys and girls alike, struggle to establish their identity, and I think the best thing that you're showing people is be exactly who you are. You don't have to fit in the rider category. You don't have to fit in the model category. You don't have to let people put you in a slot. You can be who you are.
Yeah.
And doing that with confidence.
Yep.
I don't care what you look like. That just is what the whole game is about.
And that's honestly, I think that kind of is worth more to people and to the companies that I work for, that I get a lot of attention. I may not be like the fastest person on the track or even like the prettiest girl in the world, but because I'm me and I just accept that, I get a lot more attention from people, and I get a lot more, like, I guess, props for it, like just being real and being organic instead of.
Yeah, that's it. Being confident in yourself, whether it's a
Yeah,
motorcycle, whether it's a photo shoot, whatever. To be confident yourself and to come out there and know that you're the real deal and you're putting forth your best. To me, is bike, no bike, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I agree. You have to be yourself. So
Yeah, for sure.
There's tons of social media comments going on over here. So
Oh, sweet. Are you guys? This is live. Are you guys running it live on your Instagram too, or how's it?
not on
How's the whole social
Instagram.
media work?
It runs through Twitter, YouTube, everything Cycle Source, Chopper Town, and
Oh,
then a
sweet.
bunch of our supporters carry it, like the Buffalo Chip and Hot Leathers.
unfortunately the program's too long to go onto the Instagram feed. IGTV only allows 60 minutes. And we usually run an hour and a half to 2 hours. So
Okay.
a couple of
I'm gonna
the
have to find it so I can.
I'll send you a
reshare
link
it.
right now, Stephanie.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. That's awesome. Thanks, Heather.
couple of the comments, like Dave Attell, are you racing at Flat Out Friday, Milwaukee, March 13th?
I wish I could, dude. I had so many people reaching out to me wanting me to go, and I'm not going to be cleared to ride with this surgery. So I tore my ACL completely, and when they go in there to repair, there was a little bit of, in the MRI, a little bit of damage to my meniscus showed, but they don't really know how much because it's difficult to see until they get in there and open it up. So when he did get in there, I had to have stitches on my lateral and my medial meniscus, which is where most of that's can take longer than the ACL. And I just, I just don't want to push it. I know so many people
Absolutely.
that have had this injury to where after, they'll be feeling good at like 2-3 months and they're just like, all right, I'm back at it. And actually at that point where you start to feel like you can walk normal again is where your ACL is going to be at the weakest, because all the muscles around everything's healing, but you need to get back on it for another 3 months to like build that strength back up. So I just don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize that.
A couple more. Drew Woodford says Stella tries to come off hard, but she's a real sweetheart. Xavier Muriel, nothing sexier than a confident woman on a bike.
And,
Yeah.
and I like Greg White. He just wants 10% of your on-track talent.
there's honesty right there.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. And you know what is crazy is that sometimes, I don't always I get time to practice a little bit, but a lot of times, like, my racing is my practice, and I go out and I just, I kind of push as hard as I can, like where I can. So I feel like I'm like, shit, man, if I had a little bit of practice here and there, I'd probably be pretty damn good.
Now the other side of this whole thing is going over to your page. You know, there's a super great image, and it makes me wonder, like, all the people that you know from the modeling world, like, what do they think about your motorcycle side?
The chicks just think it's rad. You know, the one thing they usually say is like, "Oh my God, you're so brave," because there's just, I think, a lot of women in the modeling industry, I feel like they're almost afraid to like try something because, and I had this issue too when I was growing up, and this is why I was kind of back and forth with everything, because it's very much a conflict of interest, right? If you're getting paid to do these promotions every weekend and working for companies, and you show up with like a broken arm, or hey, I can't make it because I just tore my ACL, it's hard. You know what I mean? You have to kind of pick one or the other, and it was a difficult decision for me. Actually, no, it wasn't really difficult because I was like ready. I was like, I'm so ready to do this. But a lot of women, you know, they're just afraid to get hurt, or they're afraid to lose what's familiar to them, you know, kind of go outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah,
so,
that's it too, to go outside of their comfort zone. I think they're afraid that they're going to lose their bread and butter. But like you're saying, if it's part of your life, you take a risk.
And I knew that's exactly what it was. I knew that there was a chance that like, hey, I might not be able to get hired for these jobs anymore, but am I going to look back and regret like not making this decision?
Oh yeah.
Well, you found a way to meld the two. I mean, kudos to you for doing both things that you love and making them work together.
Thank you. And I kind of just told myself, like, you know what, it's going to work out, and I'm just going to get in where I fit in, you know, and the right people will be there and the right things will come along. And, you know, I modeled and I did the mainstream stuff, and I did all the no tattoos back, you know, 10 years ago when tattoos weren't as acceptable as they are now. And I started getting tattoos, and I was like, this may make me lose jobs. And it did. But I also gained other work from it on different sides of things, you know? So it comes and goes. But like I said, I wouldn't change it for the world. I don't want to ever look back and be like, I regret not doing this, you know?
Okay, so no bullshit time. We did the positive message. We did all all the good stuff.
Are you sitting down? That's all we want to know.
I want to know. I want to know the first guy that gave you a ration of shit for being a pretty girl coming out onto the track that you either put into a corner or had him eat shit trying to keep up to you.
Oh my God, dude! I don't fuck. You know what's so funny is, okay, all right. You guys know Dan, Danger Dan.
Yeah, we love Dan.
So,
Dan's the
yes,
kid.
I love Dan so much, right? So, and I did a podcast on his show too. He's awesome. And I just love his whole style. He just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And
Dan's cool.
Him, and
Cool
it's
guy.
either take it or leave it.
Right
yeah.
on.
So, when I first started racing with him, I was like, oh my God, this fucking guy is such a squid. Like, he's going to be all over the place. So I always tried to either like, I was like, if he lined up next to me, I'm like, one of us is getting taken out, you know? So I think, I don't remember. He might have crashed into me, or I might have crashed into him a few times at the super hooligan races, but it was always like we're going around each other. I'm passing him or he's passing me, and it was left and right. And it was never one of those he talks shit to me kind of things. And I was just like, it was after we had, you know, seen each other so many times at the races, it then became like, what's up, dude? Like, fuck yeah, we became friends, you know?
Yeah, the funny part is if you let Dan ride long enough, he's going to take himself out. So you're golden, you know?
Right? And his bike, like, it was just funny because I used to be like, oh man, I'm not lining up next to this guy. But then I was just, you know, him and I started being friends, and it was just really cool. And he was putting just as much effort into it. And, you know, he never goes out and practices either. He just shows up on his stock ride that's like barely built and just goes out.
That is his practice.
That's what I was going to say. That is his practice.
So I, you know, put myself, I'm like, dude, we're pretty much in the same boat here, you know, even though my bike's a little cleaner than yours, like we're pretty much, as far as riding goes, like we're kind of on the same level. So it just became a mutual respect thing, and now we're friends.
Yeah, Danger Dan is the real deal, hands down.
Oh,
he is, boy.
That dude's right there.
Lives it.
His name fits him like a glove.
Right?
Yeah, I give him mad props too. He's awesome.
Hey, so in the comment section here, Mike Draco keeps asking, does she ride choppers too? Let's put this picture up. And what is this chopper that you're on, the Captain America looking motorcycle that you...
Oh, all right. So I did this, and this is crazy because it was kind of fell into my modeling category, but at the same time was with motorcycles. So a few years ago, I think it was actually it's longer than that. I feel so old, but I think it was like 2014, maybe 2015. I don't know. I got contacted by this company who wanted to do this documentary on the whole Easy Rider ride. So it was the company Eagle Rider does a ride from LA to Louisiana. That's basically the same path from the movie Easy Rider.
Yeah.
And they had some people on it that were just regular Joes, and they're like, man, we really got to get like a chick that's halfway decent looking, or good looking girl that's can ride and can hang with all these miles, and we'll put her in this documentary and go from there. So they flew me out to I think I met them up in Albuquerque, but it was in Taos, New Mexico, and I started on the ride from there. And they brought two replica bikes from the movie that they allowed everybody to ride for a certain amount of miles. And so before we hit New Orleans, I got to ride that chopper for a little bit, and it was cool. Like, I had fun riding it. It was something different. Something I had never ridden before. So
okay, so
I personally don't own a chopper, but I have ridden them. I'll ride anything.
So big question.
Okay.
Even though you got the ride on the route and you got the ride a Captain America look-alike bike, did you go to St. Louis No. 1 Cemetery?
Yes, we did.
Nice.
Right on.
That's the answer I wanted to hear.
I actually took a whole bunch of pictures in there when I wasn't supposed to. I should have sent you guys those.
They got kicked out.
Did you knock 3 times?
Yeah, did you drink to the dead?
I didn't do that.
Cool.
No.
So Mark and I got to go there, and that's the
multiple times.
Didn't you guys get kicked out?
Yeah, but it's a different story.
Yeah. Whole different reason.
I took a picture laying on top of like somebody's like tomb that was like the big giant slab that went over it. I was like, I thought, because they kind of come up and they almost look like benches, and there's so many different, like there's so many different graves in there that I was like, oh shit. And then somebody took a picture of me laying on it. I was like, I probably shouldn't be.
Dude, that's truly like one of my favorite places. We've been everywhere.
It's really fucking cool.
New Orleans and all, but all that. But that was one of my favorite places I've ever been. Like, there's some great stories there.
It was definitely like cool. It was, dude, that even being in New Orleans that night was like, it was just a trip. Like, going to that graveyard was awesome. And when I was there, I was like, oh man, I want to get like a psychic reading or something like crazy gypsy, like voodoo shit, right? But everywhere I saw just didn't feel right, because it's real touristy and right off the main roads, and everything seemed like not like, I'm like, nope, this isn't the place. Nope, that's not the place. No. And then, so I just kind of gave up on it. We went out drinking, and the place is, it's open like 24 hours, right? So we were out drinking, and then it was like 4:00 in the morning, and we went to go get some, what are those little French beignets? Yeah.
Dude,
okay.
Shit.
So we went to this little place over there by the Catholic church that's open 24/7 for beignets, because we're all drunk and hungry. And I see this guy like sitting at a table like right outside the Catholic church, like just with candles, and it's like 4:30 in the morning, and I was like, that's the fucking guy right there. So I went up and I had my gave me a tarot card reading, and it was just the most insanely like accurate, and it like made me cry. This guy, it was insane how accurate it was, and things that are still that he had said that resonated with me that happened like in the last few years. That
I just got goosebumps.
I'm not kidding you. It like almost makes me tear up just thinking about it. So it was just a crazy experience for me being there, and that was like one of the most memorable parts of it.
Yeah, that whole place down there just resonates feelings, and everything from the history and the first year I think the second year. First year we got to ride and do all kinds of stuff. The next year I was in an accident, had my foot all messed up, and was hobbling around with a cane and didn't get to ride at all, but really got to. Dude, we had some crazy time. The racing through the parking lot.
Oh my God!
The sitting at the bar at 4 in the morning and calling the guy. The guy's car was for sale, and we called the number at 4 in the morning, and he's upstairs yelling at us, "Don't call my phone!"
Dude, that was the year that Charlie Ransom from the Wall of Death told the cop to shitter get off the pot.
Yeah, right on.
Holy shit,
Dude, we had so
And then
much fun.
as soon as he said it to the cop, because we were just like us and the lead sled guys and the
Yep.
wall of death guys, and we're riding around this parking lot,
Yeah.
like, and it was getting, kind of like we did when we got drunk and loose at the end of the night. And this cop was watching us. Well, he goes into his trunk and puts on a flak jacket,
Yeah.
gets himself all together, and then comes walking over and tells us how we need to stop riding motorcycles in this parking lot. And Charlie Ransom lost his fucking mind on this guy.
Oh my god, that would have been great to see.
The burnout where we yelled at Bad Company and told them to shut up at the bike event, not a motor music event. Like, dude.
They were not.
Yeah.
Dude, that
They were
sounds like
bad
a rowdy
influences.
time.
Yeah,
That sounds
it was
rowdy.
good.
That's like
They
right
did
up my
not
alley.
make good
But
choices.
the greatest thing was once
Dude, we made great
so
choices.
Charlie did this whole speech to this cop, which was just
Yeah.
a tirade about freedom and all kind of bullshit. And he gets done and he says, "So shit or get off the pot." And he started his motorcycle, and I swear to God, from the minute he started it until he got 300 yards away at the wall of death, he never let off the throttle. Like, I don't know how he managed to stay on the bike.
You're harshing my buzz. You're harshing my mellow or something.
You're
he told the
harshing
cop.
my
Yeah,
mellow.
you're harshing my mellow. Dude,
Oh my goodness.
this cop had to know he was out of place because we were all hysterically laughing in his face the whole time.
Oh,
It
He
was
must
awesome.
have felt so awkward. Holy shit.
yeah, we're bad kids
So
sometimes.
Dude, that's fun. I like that rowdiness. That's why I love the hooligan stuff, because it's just like, it's so fucking rowdy. Like I did like the off-road moto and like the motocross and stuff, and it was just they're very like, you got to hide your beer in the coolers.
yeah.
You can't like really, I mean, obviously you don't want people like hammered while they're racing, but like to have beers out afterwards, or to like,
To be
have
real.
beers around. It's just like,
Yeah.
exactly, and it's just, that's why I liked it so much, because you're out there racing with your buddies, and some of them are like on their bikes, they ride every day,
Yep.
So that's like what I just was like super like caught on to me, because I was like, this is super rad, this is fun, and these are all like great people.
all right,
Right
what
on.
was your first bike?
My like motorcycle completely.
First road bike.
My first road bike was my FXR.
Right on.
It's a 1991 FXR, and I didn't get that until I rode dirt bikes for years before I got a road bike. I actually almost traded my dirt bike for like this little 650 bobber for like 2 weeks, and then I missed riding my dirt bike, and the dude traded me back. Well, and also too, I was like, this bike's not that fast. It's just a 650 bobber. I'm like, I want something faster. So I got my FXR in 2014, and that's been my baby ever since.
Okay, let's talk dirt bikes for a minute then. What was the favorite dirt bike that you had first?
Well, my very first dirt bike that I learned how to ride on was a little Honda CR80. I think it was like an 86 or an 87. It had, the metal tank and all the really like monoshock, all the really old school shit on it. But my dad,
Wait a minute, she just said old school shit
86
and said
old school. Yeah.
I know,
she said monoshock.
Wow.
She said monoshock and then old school.
My first dirt bike was a
It's okay, they're
Bataka.
old.
So
They're old.
I think it was like a 70 Bataka.
Oh my god.
I know, listen, all right, I feel old, but you guys are really fucking old.
Yes.
All right,
I
gloves
knew-
are off.
I knew I liked her.
So yeah, I like talking shit. Let's do it more. So anyways, yeah, that was my first bike. I love that thing. My dad he wanted to teach us all how to ride. Well, I call him my dad, but he's my stepdad because he's just been my dad my whole life. So he wanted us all know how to ride motorcycles, just like you would teach your kid to drive a stick shift, just to know how to do it, And he used to rip wheelies down the street on this thing, just like the fender just on the back wheel,
Right
like,
on.
because he was so heavy on it. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So because it was the bike I learned on and it was an old 2-stroke, it was awesome. I loved it. But since I've grown up and I've gotten older, I'd have to say that my favorite bike is my KX 450 that I had, just because
Nice.
it belonged to somebody who was really special to me and who passed away, and I've had it, and I'm actually rebuilding it right now, and I just absolutely love riding it. It's just every time I ride it, it's special for me. You know, it's not just like, oh, this bike is cool because it's fast and it rips and it's a great bike. It's like it's special, and when I ride it, I just feel something different than if I ride any other bike.
Right on.
So that's why I like it so much.
Next question is,
Okay.
of all dirt bikes, what would be the one dirt bike you were like, man, if I could only got that bike, or if I could go back and get that bike, what would that bike be?
Oh, fuck. That's difficult. So, I mean, I like them all. I really wish. Okay, so I bought my Husky FC 250 like 2 years ago, and I wish I would have gotten the TC 250 instead. I wish I would have got the 2-stroke instead, because I really like those 2-strokes. Like, they've ripped.
See, now we're going to talk age again, because my most desirable bike, if I could go back and get it, would be the 1982 Husky 250.
I don't even think she was born yet.
Because that was like...
No, I wasn't.
That was the baddest.
Just so you know.
That was the baddest bike
She
ever.
wasn't even born
That
yet.
was like when Husky was... that was before they went away, right?
Yeah.
Because they disappeared for a little while and then made a huge comeback.
That was still Husqvarna Maidens feeding by Olga and Lars, just for me.
Well, part of the problem was they were so heavy that, you know, you couldn't get them going fast enough. They were so damn heavy. You couldn't get them off the ground, first off.
Which is crazy because now
yeah, I was
like
going to say, you could... if you came to a hill, you didn't have to go over it. You can go through it. They were so heavy. So.
It was like a tank.
Yep.
See, I mean, there's part of me that wishes I was a few generations older, because you guys had some killer shit. Like the stuff my dad's got pictures ripping around on when he was younger. You had to really be a good rider to ride that shit.
And there's the difference. You know, a lot of people don't realize that. Not cutting anybody out or any of that stuff, but I'll tell you, if you can handle that son of a bitch, you get on something there now today, you're going to kill somebody with it. Like,
that's what I mean. Like, you guys had to be good riders, and like the dudes like, you know, Bob Hanna and all those guys were fucking rippers. And like, I remember when my dad showed me the movie On Any Sunday.
Oh yeah.
And the bikes that they were riding, and they were ripping on them. The bikes the kids have nowadays, us, they're so light. They're fuel injected. You don't even have to kick them anymore.
They do the work for you. Yeah, half the work's done for you.
Exactly. So I'm like, those were some real men back then riding those things.
Yeah, I remember I had a hiatus for quite a while from dirt bikes because of magazine and choppers and all that crazy shit. And then in 2003, I bought my first KX 250 in like quite a long time, right? And I went with a bunch of friends of mine out to a track, and of course,
just a 4-stroke.
No, 250, 2-stroke.
Oh, okay, 250. You didn't say K6.
I would still pick a 2-stroke over a 4-stroke, even though the 4-strokes are so much easier to ride. But man, there's nothing like
that band power.
There's nothing like it.
I know, I agree.
But when I first got that, we went out to a motocross track, and like the dickhead man that I am, I just like immediately go flying at a double, and I'm like, you know, grit my teeth, and I'm up in the air, and I'm like, here it comes. And when the bike landed, it just went
feathered.
Whoosh.
Oh,
and
that
I was like,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh.
Back in the day, you come up, you literally prepped for your landing. Like there was no, now, you know, you brake and you throttle and you twist yourself. At this point, you're down. Back then, you're down 911. Like, you know you're coming down and you're not going to make it home. So
the technology that's come with it, with being able to, you know, the suspension and everything. It's so crazy how far along it's come in just like 20 years.
And that's with everything. That's not even just with motorcycles. I mean, and it's really cool to watch these guys go do their, you know, triple Lindy's on their motorcycles off these jumps.
No, I know. It's with freestyle. Oh my God, I could go.
It's totally badass. But now,
when I first started watching it, it was like Metzger and Carey Hart and all that shit. And I loved it. And that's what made me want to do it. But you look at the dudes doing triple front flips and shit, and you're like, what is this? Why is this happening?
As soon as this is over, go back to an old Evel Knievel shot of him coming down over those buses and landing, and you'll know exactly what it felt like.
Hey, dude, not even that long ago, Mike Jones lives right out the road here. Mad Mike Jones.
Mad Mike
Jones?
And And dude,
Oh my god, my fucking boyfriend's got some stories about him.
Oh, dude, he's crazy.
you see him walk around
It's
today,
nuts.
and I mean, he paid the toll to pave that
Yep.
road. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah, I know.
Because he
Oh,
was
yeah.
doing it. He was doing it on bikes that were nowhere near equipped to the motorcycles there are today.
Dude, that's so crazy. I was doing like my PT out in the living room last night, and we were watching the old Crusty Demons videos. I'm like,
Nice.
Yeah.
they're on YouTube now, but I'm looking and I'm like, there's no way. I mean, the quality's pixelated, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't even this much better when it was on VHS.
Right.
You know? So it's like,
Yep.
it was pretty cool to like watch that shit again. I haven't seen it in so long.
Right on. Well, listen.
Wait a minute, real quick. Gene Williams wants to know how old you were when you started to ride.
I was 8 years old. My dad had me on a bike and I couldn't touch the ground, and he said, if you want to get off, you can yell for me, and if I don't come, just jump off to one side and push the bike the other way. I'm like, okay.
Nice.
Right
That
on.
was a tiny little thing.
Oh, tons of people making great comments for you on social media. You'll definitely have to come back through.
You have a
And check
lot of
them out,
new
yeah.
fans. You really
Oh,
do.
that's so awesome, man. I'll have to check it out. That's really cool. I'm so glad that you guys asked me to do this, too. I really appreciate it.
Ashley Woodford said she wasn't born yet either in some of the shit that we were talking about. And Ashley, you can also kiss my ass. And,
Yeah, right.
So, Stephanie, we would love to have you on again anytime
Absolutely.
you want. Anytime you need a platform to share your voice, to share your racing stories, all you got to do is give us a holler.
I would love
Whether
to do
it
that.
be
You guys are awesome.
in the pages or on this show, we'd love to have you again. Tell everybody where they can follow you.
So you guys can follow me on Instagram. My handle is Ms. Pietz. It's MZ, and then my last name Pietz, and it is pronounced Pietz. I know some people like don't say it because they're afraid to spell it the wrong or say it the wrong way, but it's pretty easy. And then I have just a Facebook page, like a fan page, that's just my full name, Stephanie Pietz, and I have a regular page and a Facebook page. But honestly, I try not to do too many social media platforms just because the two alone are already so much, and I sometimes like to actually just live my life.
Amen.
Good for you.
Promote everything, it's difficult at times, but sometimes you just gotta unplug from that shit.
Well, you're too busy living in the moment to
I feel
share
this-
the
I feel
moment,
the
so
same
good
way.
for you.
All my 78 Facebook friends love it.
Well, I mean, when I was growing up, and I know growing up, it was right before the whole cell phone era, but it's like you had to go out and do shit, and
Yep.
your friends were the only ones who saw it,
Right.
and like I miss that. Like I really do miss that shit
We,
sometimes.
listen,
No,
we
that's
say that all the
awesome.
time too. There's nothing worse than going to something where you're like, man, I can't wait to get to Main Street in Sturgis, and you get there with a group of people, and everybody's looking down at their
Everybody's on
phones,
their
and they're
phone.
like, I'm like, are you
Everybody's on
kidding
their
me?
phones, and you're just
Yeah.
like, fuck, man, I just want to just unplug just for a
No,
minute.
I think that's awesome. Good for you. Actually, that's one thing
Yeah.
I took
It's
from my
healthy.
daughter. The only reason I do social media, I think, is because of the business. But my daughter, who's probably closer to your age than I am, she's off doing all these great things. And I'm like, send pictures. And she'll get back from the day and she'll be like, oh, Mom, it was awesome. I went whitewater rafting, blah, 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 blah. Did you get any pictures? She said, no, I was too busy living it.
Yeah,
And that was one of the proudest moments for me to hear her say that.
because those are the moments you can't replace, right? Even that 5 minutes where you're on your phone, you could just be
Oh.
kind of doing something else. It's
That's
just
it.
like that's the shit you die with, right?
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
I try to do that as much as I can. Unfortunately, we all kind of have to adapt to the times,
I'm having
and
trouble with that.
if social media allows me to make a little bit of money to be able to keep doing what I love, then I can compromise here and there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to worry about keeping up to the times anymore, Mark. We've been dubbed
Yeah.
old as fuck
Yeah,
tonight.
I'm
I'm gonna make you guys a sash that says.
I'm going to see if I
Old as
can
fuck.
find a way
Hey.
home from here without going across a bridge. Thanks, Stephanie.
Listen, I will proudly wear the old as fuck sash if you get one for Danger Dan that says Squid Power.
Squid power. Yeah, right on, man.
Squid Billy. His is Squid Billy.
Oh
That's
my
what it
God.
Fucking funny.
Right
Dude,
on.
I know. I hope he fucking hears this, man. I love that guy.
Right on.
All right.
Thanks for coming on so much, and we look forward to having you back real soon for sure.
Absolutely.
And
Thanks for
good
having
luck
me, guys.
healing up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Right
Take
on.
care, Stephanie.
All right, you guys have a good one.
See ya.
Bye.
Damn,
She's
that was
awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
that was pretty funny.
Like, she's so awesome.
Yep.
And I love the fact that she was like, you can be strong, you can be beautiful, and you can do whatever the hell you want. It's okay to be pretty and be a strong woman. Oh, cool chick. Well, I just get so mad at like these girls who don't objectify me, don't look at my body, but then they're in a teeny weeny bikini.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you're gonna wear that, people are gonna look at you. Suck it up, Buttercup. It is what it is.
Okay, now for something completely ridiculous. Actually, this isn't
No.
entirely ridiculous, but the headline grabbed me. Forget the vagina candle. This coming in from the Fast Company. Harley Davidson turns the rumble of a motorcycle into a wellness tool.
What does that have to do with a vagina candle?
I
don't
don't
know.
Like,
I
did we
have,
figure that out?
But you
Listen,
know what? It
I'm
made
a-
us read the article.
I know, that's it. I mean,
That's
I'm
all
gonna
it did.
I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as we get off of this show, I'm doing a half-hour intensive on what a vagina candle is.
dude, you don't know
because-
the story?
No.
What Gwyneth Paltrow is
I don't know
selling a vagina-scented candle.
A what?
Yeah, right on. That's it. Exactly.
Who in the
it.
hell wants a vagina?
That's what I said. Is it pre-vagina scented? Is it after? Before? Like,
There's a
what's
time.
The point?
There's a
This chick
time.
needs a hobby.
There's a
Where's my
time
buzzer?
where you want to appreciate the smell of a vagina.
No,
I don't think
no,
you just want
no.
it radiating through your house. That's like ball flavored
Where-
But it's a chick doing
cereal.
Where is my mute button?
It doesn't
Anyway,
make sense.
Of course, it's a chick doing it. They'd hang you.
Well, but I'm saying it. I mean, like a dude would be pushing, for it, and I could see. But like, well, again, do the math on her. I mean, in all reality.
Okay.
So what does this have to do with anything? I have no idea.
but the whole point of
There
this
you go.
is this commercial that Harley Davidson released is phenomenal. And I love Harley Davidson. I typically do not love their marketing direction lately, like with things like with the Hella Mega Tour. But
Hello, Megator.
Oh God, you had to say that, didn't you?
I love this commercial.
Right on. Hang
Lisa,
on.
I
Let's check
keep
it out.
up on current events.
Yeah,
Lisa.
that's
Just to let you
Lisa
know.
Ballard just said. I love that Mark knows about the candle.
Dude, it's all we talked about at work the other day. It's ridiculous.
Do you guys ever do anything?
Well, I don't.
All right, here's Harley's commercial, and this one actually is really cool. So kudos to Harley.
Keep scrolling. Be generous with likes. Order food. Skim headlines. Set 3 alarms. Check followers. Order shoes. Use AutoSend for flowers. Use AutoSend for birthdays. Tabs open. Curtains closed. Use headphones. Run in gyms. Order cars. Keep scrolling. Stay in bed. Order food. Keep scrolling. Don't go outside. Don't go outside. Don't leave the phone behind. Do not engage your heart, your mind. No eye contact. No sync. Don't blink. Don't think. Don't ever let yourself feel this alive. Breathe. Ride.
Now that's one
Love
of the coolest
that.
things I've seen them do in a long time.
Yep. Absolutely. Amen.
So a number of people have reacted to our our last little volley. Your mother, who I'm sure that I'll hear from
I
after
can't
the show.
even imagine what she was trying to say there.
And Drew Woodford actually questioned my comment about ball-flavored cereal. I want you to give me the argument that
He
says
meant baseball, Drew.
that a vagina-scented candle is better than ball-flavored cereal, or worse, or even I don't know.
It was a joke, right? Somebody tell me this was a
No,
joke.
it's not
No,
a joke.
it's
This
serious.
is real. Like, and that's what started the whole frenzy at work the other day, because one of the guys I work with that
Don't tell
works
me he
with
bought
us-
one.
No, it came
He's
up.
going to.
And he asked who the person was, and we explained to him who she is, and like, there's a sheer sign of, well, first off, she was married to a guy in a band that the brothers would get in a fight before the show, and they wouldn't even go out and play the show, for Christ's sake.
Who was
the
she
black,
married
the
to?
Black Crows.
What's the other one? No, there's another one too. They were at the Broken Spoke with us a couple years back.
They're $130 and they're real.
Blackberry Smoke.
No, I can't think of. But it's what's it? Coldplay. She was married to the guy from Coldplay. So you're just too much effing money and not enough to do, I guess. She was in between movies, I guess. I don't know, but what
I-
was she thinking? Oh, that smells great. I'm gonna make a candle out of it. I'm thinking an apple pie is what you make a candle out of. For Christ's sake, if it smells like apple pie, I want a candle. If not, shut up and put your pants back on.
MEB123 says, I guess it depends on whose vagina they use.
Exactly.
You absolutely have a
Freaking
point there.
right there.
All right, so listen.
Reel this in.
We've been telling you guys for a little while now that we're,
oh boy,
this year involved with the High Seas Rally. It's coming up fast. And before you know it, we're going to be on the boat doing motorcycle stuff out on the seas. But all this year, there's some crazy, crazy good stuff going on with Xavier Muriel, and we're going to check in with him for 2 seconds from Providence Cycle Works to tell you about it.
Hey, what's happening? It's Xavier with Providence Cycle Works in Austin, Texas. I'm here with my brother-in-arms, Mr. Chris Callan from Cycle Source Magazine and Flat Broke Chops and Rods. And we are working together on a project for High Seas Rally. It is a cruise that leaves on December 3rd through the 10th on the Royal Caribbean's Brilliance of the Seas. Leaves out of Tampa, hits Cozumel, Costa Maya, and Grand Cayman Islands. And what this is a bike rally on the water. And
brilliant, right?
Brilliant.
I mean, how many times do we stand around the hot blacktop parking lot in black clothing going, why are we not doing this near a body of water? Right? Like, who comes up with this?
Yeah. And so we're doing it this year. They've asked me to build them a custom motorcycle, which at one point in time was just a stock frame. It is no longer stock frame, thanks to Mr. Rick Bray at RKB Customs.
Thing is so badass.
And this is basically the foundation of a motorcycle that I'm going to build with a lot of my friends and a lot of my family in the industry that's going to benefit the Debbie's Diabetes Foundation. Now, what this foundation has done is since 2003, them coupled with the High Seas Rally has raised over $2.9 million.
Insane.
Right? And what this allows is dialysis patients who ordinarily would not have the ability to go on a cruise because they have to be at dialysis, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 hours a week, sitting in a chair for 4 hours at a time to have their kidneys and their blood filtered to stay alive. So what this company has done is they figured out a way to put bikers together, dialysis patients together on the boat. The fund pays all the travel, all the accommodations and costs for a patient and the caregiver to experience life at sea. And I couldn't be more honored and more excited since I have a family member that suffers from type 2. So this is a super, super, super dear concern of mine.
You don't realize either, I mean, how all-encompassing the day-to-day care of that becomes for someone until you, like you said, until you have a family member, you have someone that's close to you, and you become part of that daily routine to ward off that illness, man. I mean, it's a full-time gig, so it's super big work.
And a lot of the things that, we take for granted on a day-to-day basis, they don't. So it is not only a huge honor, but it's also a responsibility of mine to get with you, the people, to get interested in this bike because it's going to be raffled off on the ship between December 3rd and December 10th. It will be on the vessel. Not only that, throughout the coming months in 2020, myself and Chris will be at major rallies across the country with not only our independent companies, but with High Seas Rally promoting this. So everybody out there has a chance. If you're not going on the boat, you can go to highseasrally.com, get all your information, and purchase raffle tickets for this bike.
Right on, man. Good work. Super proud to be part of it. It's a great reason to come together around the idea of a custom motorcycle. There's so many things out there today where people were, painting up a motorcycle with a brand's logo and stuff and raffling it off. But this is something that's really going for a good cause, dear to our hearts. Obviously, with Xavier having a family member that suffers from diabetes, he's championing that cause from multiple directions. So go check him out.
Can I tell them one thing that we get to do on the ship?
Yes.
So this is really crazy. They not only are they letting us come on this cruise, but they are letting us do mini bike races on the ship. Yes, you heard that right. We are going to be mini bike drag racing on the High Seas Rally cruise ship.
And Lisa Ballard's still here. And all I have to say is, Lisa, how proud are you that we're grown up enough now that people will trust us with mini bikes on a cruise ship?
No, Lisa Ballard's probably still in the backside of us. The
Yeah.
greatest accommodation we ever got was they gave us a trailer to sleep under. Now, all of a sudden, the new generation of cycle sources on a boat. And they got RVs and a bunch of pussies at this point in life. I don't know what's going on right here.
Helmets not required. Life jackets are.
All right,
I don't
so
get it.
let's go through a couple events. The events are really starting to pack up. You know, Daytona kicks everything off, but man, it's just from here going to be a crazy, great, busy year. We want to mention a few of them right now. The Donnie Smith Bike Show and Swap Meet, March 28th and 29th. Killer time, always a good time with the Donnie Smith Show. Most shows should model themselves after this thing because it's nuts. The Chill, March 20th and 22nd. Also talking about Daytona, the greatest show ever, Chopper Time. Willie's Old School Chopper Show,
Hands
March
down.
12th. One of the reasons to get your ass to Daytona. Tons of stuff going on at the Broken Spoke. We will be stationed at the Broken Spoke with everyone from the Handmade Lot throughout the week. There's an event or two every day. Tons of great bands, including the Black Smoke Sinners, which maybe I've mentioned a time or two. Also at the Broken Spoke on Tuesday, March 10th, Cycle Source Magazine Bling Cycles come together for the custom Daytona Bike Show. Tons of prizes, great stuff going on there. Sunday at the Broken Spoke, March 8th, Warren Lane's True Grit. This thing was off the hook last year. It's going to be killer again this year. All the new pavers and stuff they put in the spoke are going to be great. That's going to be doubly important when it comes to Wednesdays. Pirouette's Paint Show, also happening at the Broken Spoke. And I'm almost out of breath from all that.
That's a lot of stuff.
That was
You
a lot
can't
of
forget
stuff.
Sons of Speed on Saturday.
I know. And
Totally almost skipped that.
not even just Sunday's Sons of Speed races. There's the practice, the pre-party.
Oh,
they got
yeah.
tons of stuff going on. Go check them out at Choppers Inc. or look up Sons of Speed on social media. You can get all the information about that.
What else is going on? Oh, Mike Draco asked a couple times if we are going to be doing a ride. We're not going to be doing any organized ride. Usually we'll try to sneak off with a couple friends one day and ride the loop. But our schedule is just so jam-packed that unfortunately we cannot do that this year. But if you find us, we might. Well, like I said, we usually sneak off with some friends and ride the loop. But if you find us and you ask us, maybe you can come along. Let's see. Du Bois Custom Donnie Smith Show was awesome. Let me know if you guys are going to be. Oh, Du Bois, you guys did the chrome for Something Wicked for us. You
Yep.
guys are awesome.
And everybody, forget the vagina candle. I just needed to say that one more time because it was awesome. It was a great part of the show. Whoever came up with the vagina candle, please get a hold of us because we'd love to interview you. Love to. I mean,
I have
talking.
questions.
I'm talking a whole day just set aside for you and your candle.
I have some serious questions.
I need one of the. I need a Simon Cowell buzzer.
Oh, one more time I want to tell you guys, remind you really that we're coming to you live just like we do every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio. Thank you so much. If you guys want to help out, you can help get the message of Shop Talk out. Make sure we have more viewers again next. Boy, I'm just falling apart at the end of the show here.
Yeah, you'll have it.
You're tired. You have builder brain.
So you guys can help us get the message out by sharing. Hit the share button. Hit the notifications so you know that no candle. Burning Bike and Boardwalk Bike Show. Mike
Talk me into
Draco,
it.
were you there whenever we actually lit the Broken Spoke on fire in Daytona and almost got thrown out of Florida?
Oh, God, that was fun.
Anyway, do your part, hit the share thing. We want to thank all of our viewers coming in from Chopper Town, everybody from the Cycle Source Network, and until next week when we hit you guys again with the same Chopper time,
Same chopper channel.
Peace.
with another episode of Shop Talk. Jeez.
No compliance.
That's it. You hold on, baby. You hold on.
No compliance.
Look at you go, Johnny.